Thank you for joining me. Welcome to my YouTube video tutorial. Today I'm featuring the Rainbow of Happiness bundle. So we've got the stamp set, there's also the coordinating dies that I'll be using, and also sharing with you one of the free celebration products that is part of 2022 January through to the end of February celebration. So if you're watching this in July 2022, this guy is probably not going to be available any longer. But you never know, you might be able to find it somewhere online. Just tilt that light out of the way. That's a bit better. Okay, so my name is Michelle Miller. I'm from mmmstampintime.com, and I'm going to share with you another card today featuring some techniques. So let me show you what I'm making and we'll get started. The envelope. I'll find it shortly. So this is a card I'm making today. It's a very simple tent-fold card in terms of the base structure, but I'm using two techniques that you might be interested in. The first one is the kissing technique, which I'll show you very shortly, and then also a dry embossing technique where you can glue down some various shapes onto a piece of cardstock and then run it through an embossing folder. And as you can see, this gives the cloudy background a really interesting texture. So let's get started. I'll show you how I do this one. I'm going to start with a piece of A4 cardstock that I'll cut in half. Okay. The first thing I do is I'm just going to trim away a little small strip of the designer series paper. I cut 3/8 of an inch off to make this length 11.5. I just find that so much easier when I'm working out measurements for different layers. So A4 cardstock is actually 8¼ inches in width, so I'm going to cut this down to 4 1/8 of an inch and pop that to one side. Okay. Now, I have just about everything else cut and ready to use. Reach across and get them. Okay. Oh, I found my envelope. So, there we go. I cut out some of the clouds for that particular envelope. Okay. So we'll start by creating the embossed background piece. Put my card base to one side. Put my card insert to one side, and let's start with this one here. Now, the last thing I think you want to do is see me cut out all those clouds. So, just drop one on the ground. Perfect. I won't bend down and pick that up. The good news is the die set actually comes with 4 clouds. Excuse me. I will pick it up. It's going to be a very squeaky chair coming back. Okay, so 3 dies, 4 clouds. And I have set about cutting all those out for you. Magic of preparation. I suppose what I should have done is actually glued quite a few of these on ahead of time for you. That's okay. We can chat in the meantime. So I'm very quickly going to add, very quickly she says, fumbling as she goes. So just going to glue aerial style. Okay. And try to get different shaped clouds in different spots. There are 4 different shapes in these clouds, so ta-da! I don't yet know how to make things move faster in a video, and it's really not something I want to teach myself. So I simply paused for a brief moment and finished gluing all those on, because I'm sure the last thing you wanted was to sit there for another 5 minutes and watch me glue. I think we all know how to do that quite safely. So let's move on now to the embossing phase. And I'll grab my time-worn, excuse me. I'm going to be using the Painted Texture 3D embossing folder for this project. And so I'll pop that into there like so. Bring up the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And base plate and plate number 4, which is our 3D embossing folder plate. And a reminder, of course, to make sure that you always put the folded end of the embossing folder into the machine first. Like this. Then back in my tray. It's so quick and easy just to set up and use. And there we have our embossed piece. So now that embossing is really very deep looking, and you get to you almost lose the effect of some of those clouds. So a really simple trick for that one that I use is I then come back in and run the embossing folder over the top and just flatten that embossing down a little bit. It just takes, the 3D embossing folders give such great sharp texture, but for that one I just wanted to sort of settle that down just a little bit so I could feature the clouds as well. Now it's time for some assembly. We'll take our card base and fold it in half. Get those edges together nicely. And take a bone folder and burnish the fold. And again, a nice sharp, crisp burnish so your card sits flat and then it stands up like a really nicely pitched tent. Now, next step is to adhere this to the card front. Make sure the cloud's facing the right direction. And just position this white matte layer so everything's nice and even. Okay. So for this card, I pre-cut the rainbow scalloped piece. And as you can see in my sample card, I've used I've just gone blank. Bermuda Bay piece for that one, and some of this Designer Series paper. For this card, I'll use the Granny Apple Green so we get that coordination, and I'll also use this to cut out a few of the clouds for the card front as well. So the first thing I'll do is I'll trim this back to 4 inches, which is the width that I need for the card front. And I have that piece then to cut my cut the clouds out shortly. I'm just going to take a quick measurement because I forgot to measure them. I think it's 1 inch. So I'm going to cut this to 3/4 of an inch. And then I'll trim this one down to 4 inches. So I actually had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Trim that in there. Okay. So those 2 pieces are ready to use. So this is where my grid paper comes in really super handy, because I can use the markings. Sorry, this is a quiet moment then. I can use the markings on my grid paper to help me get this nice and parallel. So I'm going up 2 little 1/4 inch squares. So basically what I'm doing is putting my DSP, Designer Series paper strip, 1/2 inch from the bottom of the card. So that's ready to go. This piece will very shortly get some dimensionals popped on it. But the next thing I need to do is actually work on my kissing technique. So I'll get everything set up for that, and I'll show you how it is done. So let's get our rainbow pieces first. Okay, and some blocks. One. Two. Three. I'm clever, I can count. I'm sorry, couldn't resist. And 4. Okay, now I need 4 colours of ink, and I also need my stacked stone cling stamp. So this is a background stamp, and what I've done is, what I'll do is I'm going to actually put the ink onto this particular stamp, and then I'm going to take the ink off the stamp with this particular fellow here. Okay, so my super big, very dirty looking block. Okay, let's get this party started. So I'll do the colours in exactly the same way, and I'm just going to use a white in between to I'm only going to ink half the block, half the stamp. I don't want to waste a whole lot of ink. Then I'm going to come here and I'm going to press it straight down firmly, and then come over here and stamp down. Lift away, and that's how we get that effect. I'll come back and clean that up later. Okay, so the next one is green. I'll just put the green inside. Do I dare? Quite a bit of ink on there. Closing these up each time. Okay, time for the second one, and it's time for my mat, which I did not bring out a moment ago. Okay, straight down. You don't want to sort of scrub it, because you want a nice clear image. And down we go, pressing firmly. Colour transfer. Now you can see I'm creating a mess. Okay, take another wipe. Okay, Bermuda Bay. That's enough on that section there. straight down, press firmly, pull up. Now, I've seen the kissing technique used with floral images, so you could get a lovely big floral stamp, ink it up, and then take whatever other stamp you want and let that stamp kiss the inked surface and then transfer it across. Actually, I think that would be rather pretty with some alphabet stamps. If you or even a word, big floral image, and then ink up, kiss the flower using some. Too much ink then. Only needed a small portion inked up. Okay. Last one. Press down firmly. Lift up. In we go. Oh no. Oh, I don't think that's too bad. Not meant to. Sorry, not meant to drop the not meant to drop the stamp a second time. Okay, this little guy is going to have a quick fussy cut, so bear with me while I do that. And of course, you're not going to have a solid outline all the way around, so just guiding your paper snips in an arch. And because I'm tucking the rainbow underneath the scalloped rainbow piece, it doesn't, the bottom piece doesn't have to be completely flat. Okay, so that will go in there like so. Right, dimensionals, and then in a moment we'll stamp our sentiment as well. Oops. I do use a lot of dimensionals. I know not everybody does. It's entirely up to you. Okay. Oops. Right, we're going to pop that there. Now, if I'd been really careful, I suppose I could have avoided areas on the card front that clouds would be hidden, but it's quick and easy this way. So let's get this sentiment happening so that then we can finish assembling our card. And I'll stamp the sentiment directly onto my die cut piece just to make it quick and easy. Oops, sorry, I'm losing all my dies. Okay, this one is You Make Me Happy. Turn that around the right way. That. And for my first card, I did colour on colour, the same one, but I think for this card, I'll use the Bermuda Bay. And stamp away. Okey-doke. Some more dimensionals. And I'll pop these towards the bottom because the scallop pieces will sit over the top of the base of the rainbow. Sticking it. So we'll use 4 across there. Just very quickly remove those backings. Pop that down a little bit lower. Just position it. I didn't put my rainbow in the best spot, but I can fix that because that's what we can do with our videos. Is we make a mistake, we don't put something in just the right spot, we can very easily, I can show you how I fix it. So lift that off gently. Okay. Pop that up a little bit higher. And actually what I will do, reverse the process. I'll put this on first, and it's slightly narrower than the card front, so I'll just balance that out. Then I'll come back in and tuck that in and press that down. Nice simple solution. Okay, then I'll come in and I'll use, if I find where my dimensionals packet is, I could get out my mini dimensionals, but that seems to have gone missing in action. So I'll just cut a Stampin' Dimensional in half, and I'll come in and pop some clouds and one big cloud left. So use that. Okay, pop that over the same cloud. This one, that shape, cloud, oops, come here. And we have that one there. So I'm just actually just popping these over the top of matching clouds. And one other half dimensional. And this is why using the little, having alcohol wipes I've mentioned in a recent video is great, because it just means that you can come back and use an alcohol wipe and just wipe away any residue from the dimensional that you've cut in half with the paper snips. Let's take one more. And we are almost done. I just need to cut now a couple of clouds. I'll put that one just there. Okay. So I'll use my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine again, bring it in, cut some clouds. What do I put in the inside? Strip, that's right. I'll get my designer series paper out in a moment and trim that. And I definitely I'm not putting any bling on the front of this card. I think there's more than enough happening with the die cut pieces and then the embossed clouds, and it's all very busy. Okay. Put those there so I don't lose them. Okay. And find my card insert. It's beautiful. And I'll trim this piece down. You can see my little mini ring light. Hello, light. Half an inch. So again, use my grid paper, and I'm going to pop my strip of Designer Series paper 1/4 of an inch from the bottom of the card insert. I'll just let that dry for a moment. Get my envelope. Oop, 1, not 2. And attach some little clouds to the front of the envelope. Just like so. Still heaps of space for an address to be popped on. And just let that hang over the edge a little bit. Okay, and now we've got our card insert. And I think my bottle of Tombow is almost done. Molting. And there we have it. 2 rainbow cards, letting somebody know they make you happy, and featuring the kissing technique as well as the dry embossing shapes technique. So thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial video and look forward to you joining me again in the future. Please always leave a comment, and I hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Yeah, so you get notifications of when things are coming. I should just come back in here very quickly and trim that little edge off, which I almost forgot to do, like so. And there we have it. Rainbow of Happiness bundle. Until next time, happy stamping.